What's going on, everyone? You guys smell that? It smells like Christmas cookies.
Oh, you're cooking Christmas cookies? Baking them?
My wife has trays and trays and trays of Christmas cookies ready to go. So
yummy.
My favorite ones are
in my belly.
She made my favorite ones. What's your favorite Christmas cookie?
What's my favorite Christmas cookie?
Yeah.
I like sand tarts.
Oh, yeah, they're good. I like them when they're older. I like the sand tarts when they get like kind of stale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? They get like
they're okay then.
They get like crunchier.
Mm-hmm. I of course like chocolate chip.
Yeah, I mean that's a good old standby.
Yeah. Sugar cookies are always good.
You know what my favorite cookie is?
Uh-huh.
What is it?
It's one that your grandmother makes.
Does she?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Snickerdoodles.
Oh, I don't know. She doesn't make those.
I love Snickerdoodles. They're my favorite cookie ever made.
Your mom made a salted caramel cookie this year. It was pretty good too. So
I cannot wait until we can crack into those cookies here soon. But anyways, this is going to be our last. We told you guys last week. This is going to be our last episode of 2020. Good riddance to this year. It's been It's been, to put it nicely, it's been a shit show.
Yeah.
Just with, I mean, everyone's had their own things going on, and obviously the times, and we don't need to get into all of that. But just crazy busy for everyone. No one, I think, had a normal year this year. But we're gonna seal the deal on this year with this episode.
And we had a foot of snow the other night.
We got a foot of snow the other night. It's still fall, actually. You know that.
I know, it's nuts.
It's still technically fall.
It is. It is.
But we had a foot of snow, because why not?
Yeah.
And
it was great.
And then it's
wonderful.
It sleeted for like 2 hours in the middle of a snowstorm. So thank God it sleeted for like 2 or 3 hours, because otherwise we'd have gotten more snow.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, hey, so
that's crazy.
We're going to wrap up. Like we said, we're going to not have episodes next week and the week before New Year's, because we're going to take a little break. Just because normally, I don't think we normally would have done it either, but the way the holidays fall this year, it's like the day before Christmas Eve.
Sorry about that.
A Sooners ringtone going off.
It's my Uncle Barry calling. I'll have to call him back.
Nice. But, so anyways,
on that note, when we kick off at the beginning of 2021, we will have Bernard Helen on. He's going to talk to us about mini prints. He has mini prints out of Canada, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about his products and stuff, and when he's going to talk to us about modeling and things like that as well. He's a very fine detail modeler. I'm looking forward to have him on, and we'll have
some more guests coming up.
We do. I know we have. I'm setting it up right now. We have to find a date, but I talked to Frank Varga, and we're gonna either do sometime in January. I'd like to have Frank Varga on.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can't wrangle him in. It's busy during the holidays.
We haven't had him on in a little while, a couple months.
Nope.
I think it was back in September.
No, it was way before that.
Was it?
Yeah.
In the summer.
It was when we Doug and them. And
that
was when we had Doug and Jason him on. He wasn't feeling good.
That was back in the summer.
Oh, that was way before the summer, because we had all those guys on to talk about. We had Dave Cruzwick, all of them, everybody. We had a big group.
That was a crazy show.
Science.
Yeah,
it was about science.
So we're gonna have Frank on. We're gonna work on some other guests as well. Just the fact that the next 2 episodes would have been over the holidays, and after this year, we just want to spend those 2 weeks kind of chilling out, working in the basement. I know I got some days off work coming up. In addition to the holidays, I'm going to take a couple extra days. I'm going to spend them down here working. And just utilize that time to be working on the layout and being with family. So, with that, let's give a quick update of what we've been working on this week.
What have we been working on this week?
And then we'll jump into the last set of patron questions for the year. And I think we'll call it a wrap. We'll keep this one short tonight. I know I got to keep this short because my wife and I got we bought the live stream of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert.
Oh, okay.
My wife wants to watch it.
We're going to make it short tonight for sure.
So, anyways, all right.
Now, what's on your workbench?
My workbench, I'm wrapping up the Conoco gas, or the Last Chance gas station, not Conoco. I was looking at the sign on the building. I made it into the Texaco station, and little did I know, Jake Johnson sent us a message or a comment that he was happy that I picked the sign I did out front for the Texaco sign, because he said he spent a ton of time designing the winged sign on that, and I just thought it was such a cool sign I had to put it on.
Cool.
So I didn't know you spent all that time working on that, Jake, but I appreciate now that sign that I chose even more, because I know that you handmade that little sign for the front, which makes that building a little bit more special.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the gas pumps for that right now, painting a couple little detail parts. I don't know if I'm going to put this on the layout or build a little diorama and take it into work and put it on my desk at work. I need something. I just want to take something into work too, and have a little decoration on my windowsill or something.
Right. I think that's a great idea.
And I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll put it on the layout later down the road. But I think it'd be cool to build a little 10-inch by 10-inch diorama and put it on my windowsill or something.
I think that'd be cool. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm doing that probably with that tank.
Yeah. But either way, it's going to be an awesome little build, diorama, or building on the layout. But yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been working on? By the way, those gas pumps are hard as... They're a pain in the ass. They're not in a bad way. They look great when they're done, but man, there's a million little parts to those gas pumps.
Yeah, gas pumps could be a hard,
They're the ones that have the clear, glass.
Those, yeah. You got to put them. You got to make them stand up right.
They look great.
Hard as balls sometimes.
They look great, but man, they give you a little bit of a challenge. Not in a bad way, good way.
So you printed out that 3D boat.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit last week. I finished it, over the weekend, last weekend. So I finished that boat, put a crew on it. I dug around in my box of all the figures that I have, Prizer figures and such. And I came up with 3. I didn't have any boat crew. Now, Prizer makes 2 boat crews, okay? They make one that has a sailor boat. They're like a loading dock crew, and there's a boat crew or some kind. There's 2 crews, okay? But you can only use them so many times over and over again when you're trying to populate a harbor. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I had some workers, but they had modern day helmets on, hard hats,
Yeah.
And the one guy did. So I took, since he had a hard hat, we're doing the 1930s and stuff, they wouldn't have had a hard hat on a boat. Maybe now, yeah, I don't know. But back then, no, And so I took a file, just one of those emery board files, and I took it to the top of the guy's head, and I gave him a wheel cap, like the old style wheel caps from the early part of the century. And that held through up to the 50s, until through the 40s anyways. So it's like a little wheel cap or a Gatsby cap, it looks like maybe a black sailor's cap. I painted it black. Actually, I did that with 2 guys. And then the other guy, he just he's wearing an apron. He's just kind of supervising them. But all these guys were more modern day worker types, and I kind of painted them up to give them the colors you would see on a boat crew or sailor crew. Whites and blacks and yellow jackets and blue pants and wearing black rubber boots, that kind of thing. And it turned out really good. And I put some lobster traps in the boat. We painted the boat up real nice, and I kind of gave it some rust spots in here and there. And there's one a friend of mine who we used to reenact with who was in the Navy for a long time, a Coast Guard, I believe.
Yeah,
Coast Guard, and he knows all about the boats. Okay, all about them. So whenever I do anything nautical or something like that, he loves that shit. So he sent me text messages saying, man, he loved how I did the rust in the certain spots, And he said, anywhere where you have the lower part of anywhere on a boat where two joints meet, there's going to be a rust spot.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. Especially
happens.
on like fishing boats, shit like that.
Yeah. Boats that are utility.
Right. So what I did was I had a pulley, because I looked at some of the boat models and stuff, and I had a pulley because some of the photos I saw have did we talk about that last week?
We did.
Oh, okay. Well, then that turned out good. I have the pulley picking up a lobster trap. I have it set so when I set this on the water, the lobster trap is cut in half. I cut it in half with wire cutters. It's brass. And made it look, I cut it at an angle so that it makes it look like it's going to be pulled up out of the water. And when we put it in our water, our resin water or whatever, we're going to, we'll put a little splash there, where it's coming up out of the water. And, but there's lobster traps in the back, all stacked up. I got a couple, mush buckets that we put on, with slopped over the, kind of like, I guess it's chum buckets. So I had the chum kind of slopped off the side of the boat in a couple places, where the buckets would be. And it turned out good. I dirtied up the deck of the boat and I put a coil of rope there, and it turned out fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I put the pictures up online so everybody can see them. So that's done. And it was a 3D resin model, and it turned out, on my book, it turned out awesome.
Yeah.
So what's next on my bench is I'm going to be working that tank over the holidays, but I also have an old Magnuson model building that it's all, it's in 4 pieces. It's a 4-piece building. I used to have it years and years ago. My mother found it at the house, and she gave it to me. It's got it's just I'm clacking it right now. I'm going to repaint it and rebuild this Magnuson model.
Okay.
It's like a 3 or 4, I guess it's a 3-story storefront type building.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It looks like an apartment complex of some kind. So I'm gonna build that thing and just repaint it and then rebuild it and put it on our layout. I have that, and like I said, and I want to get on the Mispillion Lighthouse at some point too.
Yeah.
But, we'll see, because we got the holidays coming up, and we'll be busy. So that's what's going on with me.
All right. Well, I know we got a bunch of other things. There's a new contest out there also that I think Daniel Banks is doing through our Overtime listener group. So if you guys aren't already in the Overtime at the Bench listener group, it's now open to all of our listeners. You guys can get in there and check out the listener group and check out that new contest. It's a plastic contest.
Nice.
So that's just another quick little update there. So let's actually just jump into it, since this is kind of the people's show, as we kind of always, the modeler show for our listeners. Let's jump into our last set of listener questions for the year of 2020. And it's been a hell of a ride with you guys this year, and we cannot wait to see what 2021 brings us as far as new content.
It's the best.
It's the best.
Starting year 4, baby.
I think this year was actually pretty cool, and I'll just give a 1-minute little recap. This was a cool year because we got to see a lot of people build stuff that we never met online before. A lot of new listeners, a lot of people who dipped their toes into some stuff they didn't usually work with before, because I think, we got a lot more home time, a lot more time to sit down and work at our workbenches. So if anything, this year was kind of a blessing to kind of, do something new. If you didn't do something new, or you didn't work on something that you have a passion on this year, then you wasted some time.
Right. Because to me, it looks like there's so much out there right now because of everything that's been going on in 2020. Like you said, everybody either working from home or off work or
home
whatever.
Time, yeah.
And and not just the amount of content, but the improvement I've seen in a lot of these people from when they got into it to where they're at now.
Yeah, even in the year, a lot of guys in the beginning of the year,
improvement.
A lot of the guys in the beginning of the year never did Craftsman kits, and they contacted us and they're like, "Guys, I just picked up my first Craftsman kit. Give me some tips." And even in our listener group, the Overtime group, there's a lot of people who get in there and they say, they know we got a lot of Craftsman builders in that group, and a lot of really skilled builders in that group, and not just with model building, just models. Not buildings, but just models in general. There's a lot of talent in there. So if you're not in that group already, you should go check it out, because we've had a few new members.
Send us a request and we'll get you in.
We've had a bunch of newer members actually get in there and say, "Hey, I'm building my first whatever kit from this company. Give me some tips." And then it floods the comments with tips on building.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I mean, I love the fact that it's something I saw a lot of this year, and that's people coming to us saying, "No, that too, yeah." No, people coming in saying, I really want to get started. I really want to do this. I'm finally going to do it. I got some time now, and I'm going to be able to do it. And they were asking questions, and they appreciate our show. And to me, that's the best part of this for us. We don't care about anything other than helping everybody. And if somebody enjoys our show, you know what? The number one comment I get on private messages, Brett.
What's that?
I love to listen to your show on my commute to work. I get that all the time from people. Do you get that one?
Yeah, that, and I get the commute one, and I've also gotten a lot of them. A lot of them are also like, I just love coming home from work on a Friday or Saturday morning, and I go to my workshop and I put you guys on while we're working, and it's like listening to two of my buddies coming over and just talking about model building while they sit there and work.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome. And with that, let's jump into our listeners' questions from the Overtime group. All right. And if over the next 2 weeks, we will still be active in the Overtime group. It's not like we're taking a siesta from everything. We're just not doing a podcast. So if you're new in there, get in there and say hi. Join it and let us make an appearance in there. So, first question. What was your best build of 2020? This is from Ron Kleiss.
Oh, wow.
My best build of 2020... My best build of 2020 was probably the terminal kit.
I would agree with you on that one.
The terminal, and it's like 95% done. I just got to do like the street scenes. But I had started that one at the beginning of the lockdown, and... It just ended up consuming most of my spring, and I loved it.
Yeah. For me, probably Rush Rock Falls.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the river portions around the building.
We picked 2 doozies on that.
Yeah, the river portions I did around each building. I had a lot of fun with that. I think that turned out good the way I landscaped it and added the foliage and the green grass and the static grass and dirt and all that jazz and the scenic stuff. But the build itself turned out awesome too. I had a lot of fun with that build, that kit. I learned a lot of ticks. I learned a lot of ticks. I learned a lot of tips and tricks. From building that, which is kind of cool, Doug had built into the directions. But then also when we had him on the show just this summer, he gave me some tips on. He gave some tips to all of us on making your own poured concrete. Remember that with the tape on the wood, and so I'm looking forward to trying to do some more of that. But I had fun with that one. I think for this year, that might have been my favorite, but I spent a lot of time on it too. So
yeah,
it took most of the year.
Yeah, it was a long one. So let's go to the next one. This is from Brad Logbrecht. Why build your layout as an island layout instead of around the walls? You have great space for more layout. We had it on the wall, and then we just decided to just pull it out and do a 360. I mean, there really wasn't more thought behind it other than we wanted to build the whole way around it. I know we probably could have done an L around my basement wall around the back, but I don't know.
Yeah, could have.
We could have built an aisle down the center and done it the whole way like a U shape, but it's a little late now.
I'm kind of liking it the way we have it.
Yeah, I mean it's too late in the game, but we can always do something cool later. It's not like I'm always going to be in this house. We can always, in the next couple years, we can always, do something different. Take this apart. We can take this apart in sections mostly, and then reassemble it in a different building. Plus, I have a basement with a garage on the end of it, so it won't be hard to remove this and move it somewhere else.
No, we've already thought about that. So
now the interesting part will be actually physically moving it, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Dan Pugach, what are you most excited about doing next? Just building street scenes for me and actual layout work. I know I've been doing some waterfront and layout work. I redid some roads. I'm just excited now to actually start placing these buildings and building scenes on the street scenes on the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to see that. Get some of the street scenes done.
Yeah, we have to. We gotta do that.
That's a primary goal for me right now.
That should be our 2021 goal.
It is to try and get the center part of the city wrapped up.
Yep.
All
right. Lynn McCurdy.
The cool thing is we got the trains running.
We did. It does. The whole train goes the whole way around, and then it cuts through the center on
one section. We got to work on the
top.
It cuts through there too, doesn't it? Yeah.
The section in the middle that cuts through the center of the city works fine.
Yeah.
It's just that top section. We just got to finish the top where the railroad yards are at the other end of the city.
So yay, we got running DCC trains. Woohoo!
Whoop whoop! And they both run. So it's awesome. Next question is from Lynn McCurdy, and this one, thank you, Lynn. Your other engine that you gave us, the engine you gave us, is also running. So they both run, and we can play around and turn one on.
Is that his question?
No, I'm just telling him that's what it was. His question is coffee and or tea as a stain. Have you tried either? I haven't, but it would be interesting to brew some coffee or tea strong and leave it in a, and then put it in a little dish and see if that works for a stain for our wood structures.
Right.
That might be something fun to try.
I've never thought to do that. In model railroading. We have done it.
Yeah.
I have done it in reenacting, where I use coffee to stain a haversack. And now a haversack is it's like a...
It's a purse.
It's a purse, man. It's a man purse.
It's a canvas purse that you put all your food in.
Yeah, you put your food in there. You put your food, probably your plate, your silverware that you had, and you had a tin plate, and you put your food in there, and that's where you put your rations. They call them. And so to give it that used look from a canvas bag that my wife sewn, and she's made a lot of them for other people too. I would they're white, and you don't want them to be completely looking brand new white, because now you look like a dweeb out there with brand new. You want your stuff looking old and beat. So you take it out and you put it in a pot of coffee and soak it overnight. And then take it out and hang it on a tree or somewhere outside on a line and let it air dry. And then it stained it real nice. It may look like, antique-y, or not antique-y, but, old, like it's been stained with foods and stuff. And you could do that with tea, too. I think black tea. I know some guys in our group that did it with black tea. With other things, not just their haversacks, with other canvas-type things. So, yeah, stains would probably work. But my question is why? Because you have, you can make stains out of, you can make the stains out of the paints that you have, your acrylic paints. You can make them out of the isopropyl alcohol. I already have bottles of the stain as it is. I have the Hunter line stain. So I have all these different stains. Why should I make a tea stain or a coffee stain at this point? So, but yeah, we've done it in our other hobby before that, and it turned out pretty cool. So, yeah. Then you take that. Then after that dries out, then you take it and bury it in the dirt.
Oh yeah,
for like a day or two, like stain it up with dirt.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, next one is from Lynn. What would be your suggestion to remove dust from trees and other fragile things on your layout? Probably canned air. I would use canned air from a distance.
Yeah, I mean, it would really have to be dust, man.
Make new trees?
Huh?
Just make new trees.
Yeah. I guess canned air, but like you said, you'd have to be like way up high above it, and it had to. Yeah, I don't know.
Especially trees. You don't want to use a vacuum and suck all the. Then you'd have winter trees.
Right. Well, maybe a hairdryer. I don't know. Because I'm
you could use a pair of tweezers.
Canned air is powerful.
You could use a pair of tweezers and then pick each piece of dust off.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. People out there, put some things up. What you do to remove dust from the top of your trees or your buildings or your
grass.
Or grass. So let us know what you do for dust.
Yeah.
And because that's something we had to address at some point down there too ourselves.
Yeah,
we have some dust in places.
We don't have too much though.
No.
All right, Greg Baker, what are you looking forward to most in 2021? More layout time.
Yeah.
My dad and I set a goal a couple weeks ago to have more time down here in the layout, so that's what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, for sure.
I think other than that, just I'm looking forward to kind of resuming some normalcy. I think we'll be able to see that in the next.
That would be awesome.
I think we'll be able to see that soon, and that'll be
I'm very hopeful for that.
That's my goal.
I'm feeling very hopeful for this upcoming year.
Jason Jensen asks, how many miles did Brett run this year?
Well, he'll tell you.
I ran 1,597 miles to date.
1,597 miles, so 1,600 miles.
Here's my stats for my runs. You ready? Year to date. Now, my year's not over. I still got 13 days, so keep that in mind. 247 runs. 247 days of running, I mean.
Okay.
Time spent running, 264 hours and 5 minutes of running. Distance 1,597 and elevation gain. So you guys know I run a lot of trails. I run up in the mountains a lot. I don't run a lot of road. And my elevation gain for my runs was 146,988 feet of climbing.
Jeez.
So, a little bit.
How many again?
146,988 feet of elevation.
Holy cow.
And that's running up.
That's what's the tallest mountain in the world?
Everest. Hang on.
K2.
No, Everest.
Everest is higher than K2?
I'm 99% sure. Mount Everest. K2
Mount Everest.
K2, yeah, Mount Everest is 29,032 feet. K2 is 28,251. So real quick,
okay.
I don't want to get stuck on this too long, but let's just figure that out.
It's like 5-6 times.
146,988 divided by 29,032. It's 5.06 times up Everest. From sea level.
From sea level. That's crazy.
So, yeah. And it was a bad year for me. Last year I crossed 200,000. So,
yeah.
But anyways, that's that.
Yeah.
Too many miles, Greg. Dan Pugach says, I follow him on Strava, and the answer is too many. He is correct. All right. Next one. Scott Perry. Glad you guys are taking a well-deserved break. What might you work on over the holidays? Well,
we covered that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to finish up this gas station, and then I'm going to rip into... I might rip into one of the bigger kits now, because I did a couple small kits in a row. But we talked about that a little earlier.
God dang it. My slipper fell off.
Your slipper fell off?
Yeah, I have my little slippers. My fur-lined
Ken Anderson. I haven't heard from you in a long time, Ken. I'm glad to see you're back in here. The Wylie Clan has made progress in 2020 on the layout. What kind of build plans, if any, for the up-and-coming year?
Bricks.
What?
Brick buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're going to get a lot more
taller buildings.
Tall structures. We're going to pick a couple up some of the Walders and Bachmann Spectrum kits. I think we're going to grab some. But we're going to, I think my goal through January and February is to get those plastic kits don't take long.
Yeah.
So I think the next 2 months, we got to rip through the center of this city and put all the big stuff down.
I agree. Yeah. So that's our plan. That's our plan.
Scott Perry also wrote, guys, I have an idea. Let's just write what we think of the program and get them to read it on the air, which could be dangerous. But then Scott Perry says, I've gotten so many great hours of fun listening to the program. It's like it's like having two great model train buddies riding with me everywhere I go. I love it. And I feel the same way with the overtime group, and I feel the same way with the guests we get on when we get to talk to them, because we learn from them just as much as you guys do.
Love it. We've been doing it, 3 years, and it never gets old.
Yeah.
It's Friday night. Where am I at? I'm sitting here with you guys.
Yeah.
Not directly, but I know you're going to be listening, and I'm here with Brett. We're getting to talk a little bit about it.
And then the next day or two later, we always get all the comments and funny posts and stuff later about the show.
Sure.
Brian Thompson, one area of the hobby that you would like to improve on, and is that something you can focus on in 2021? For him, it would be building, or for him, it would be lighting. For us, I think it's going to be plastic.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
I mean, we sat here and bashed plastic over and over for a bunch of years, and not really. Well, we did a little bit, but I've come to realize that not everything in my town can be made of wood.
Right.
Yeah.
It
is fun to work with wood. Now, don't get me wrong, the wood brick, laser cut wood, with brick pattern, fine. I'm all about that. Okay, that's great. But
the problem with those is we're limited to the height of them.
Right, and we need some big ones.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to build these, and we're going to be doing some magnets and stuff. I'm going to make some molds.
Yep.
And we're going to do what Brett said before on some of the models that we're going to buy. So it's a different approach. We're not going to stop making the wood ones either.
No.
We're still doing that, and there's still going to be some big ones on that. But it's just we need to expand as well. We need to make sure our town has a variety, and right now its variety is clapboard. So we need to expand more brick.
Definitely. Alrighty, this one's a fun one from Ron Piskel. What's a rough estimate of how many buildings you have on your layout? Oh boy!
Ooh, didn't I count that the other week?
Yeah, you did.
When I was down there last time, what was that? Like 107?
Yeah. We have
107.
I know it's over 100. 107, 110-ish range, and we have probably have 30 to still put on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, at least because I probably have. I probably have 16 here. 17. Yes, that'd be about right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And he also just said Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you next year. Thanks, Ron. Dan Banks. We got all the good guys on. They're all good. Everyone's good, but we got all the long timers today. Thanks for a great year of podcasting, friendship, and modeling. I appreciate this fun group. Great attitudes of everyone here. Have a Merry Christmas and enjoy the time off. You too, Ron. You too, Dan. I love that.
Thank you.
Jake Johnson, same thing. Looking forward to more of your content in the new year. Keep on building. Thanks, Jake, and we can't wait to talk to you again in the new year. Hopefully sometime sooner in the new year, get you and Dave on. Because I want to talk about my gas station build with you, and we haven't chatted in a while, so I'd love to get you back on here soon.
Some things coming up. We're going to do another. We are going to do another build.
Yep. A group build. A live build. Yeah.
With
and I have a way now to do it on YouTube Live.
Okay, that's great.
And Facebook Live.
So
at the same time,
we're going to be doing the Ron Kleise's new model.
Yep.
For Wylie's.
That's another badass building.
It is. And so we're going to be doing that one. Hopefully we're going to look to maybe start that up in February or later February.
Yeah.
And we'll give you details on that when we get back. And we'll go with that. Maybe it might be later February or early March. We'll on one way or the other, we're going to definitely do the build.
We'll have a group build.
And it'll be a lot of fun. It's yes. So, the Wylie's, what is that, pub and restaurant? What is that?
I don't know. Pub? It's a pub, but it looks like it's got almost like that old Dutch countryside, like country style building, not country.
Like a German.
Yeah, not Dutch, like not countryside like where I live. I mean like that old.
European.
Yeah, but it's like Americanized.
Like old world.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You see some of those buildings in like New Cumberland. Camp Hill has a couple like that where like they're old German or European style buildings, and when they were building these towns, these old towns in our area, a lot of the East Coast is like that. You know, you'll notice different architecture from different regions of Europe.
Right, exactly, and you know, you find that's like anything because our
not that long ago though, and it wasn't that long ago.
No,
it's not that. It's not old history. This was the last 150 years. So
right, and which is, you know, when by our standards, it's, you know, that's definitely
it's recent history.
It's recent history.
So
yeah, we get as Americans how very
our country's very young.
Wylie's Good Time Tavern.
That's what it is. But we forget how young our country is yet.
Awesome. Go to his website and check it out. So for sure.
Yep.
But
all right, next one. Next one is from William Knight. Has anyone considered the effect of facing direction of a building in relationship to weather, sunrise, sunset? Is a compass relation pertinent? I've never really thought of that. Like the way the building's facing, as far as a compass direction. The way the building's facing.
Well, since I don't really have like a sun, our lighting doesn't come up casting shadows. We don't have it set up that way.
Right.
You know, I bet you, I know that there are people out there to do that.
Oh yeah.
In fact, we had a guest on that does that. Who was that? That was Steven.
Yep. Hayworth.
Yeah. And he does that, and it's brilliant. And I can guarantee you that Lance
Minheim?
Yeah, Minheim. I guarantee you he can tell you a little bit about that. But we don't do that. We just have our overhead lighting, and you know, we have an east and a west and everything on our layout.
Yeah, but we don't really go that.
We haven't thought about the direction of the lighting and sunsets and shadowing and that kind of thing. So,
all right. Next one is from Edhorst. Enjoy the banner amongst yourselves and guests along with their take on accomplishments. Beside plastic model contest suggested by Dan Pugach and Dan Banks, what might you have in mind for any build contest in 2021? And have a Merry Christmas. So we're going to do the group build. I would like to get back to doing some live Facebook stuff in addition to the group build. It's something we haven't done in quite some time.
As far as a contest, I don't really know right now.
We're gonna. So here's the deal with the contest. We have a traveling trophy for the people in the overtime group.
Yeah.
It's a hideous trophy, but it's beautiful at the same time. It's like the ugly baby, but everyone wants to keep that baby because it's ugly. But the idea with this contest is anyone in that group, when you win, you ship it to the next person. You know, your responsibility is to ship that contest trophy to the next person that wins, and then you add something to it. So you win the trophy, you get it, it'll have a whole bunch of stuff from people adding it to it beforehand, and then you have it for a month or two or till the next contest, and then when that person wins, you ship it to the next guy on good faith, and then after you've added something to it, that person can add something of their own flair to that trophy. So we're going to modify the trophy every time it goes to someone else. And it's just like a golden Oscars guy. Like it's funny. But we'll just keep that going. And I'm really kind of going to rely on the listeners this time to message me or my dad about contests that they can build or do, and then we'll kind of let the listeners self-run the contest. I mean, that was the idea with the first one over the summer, and we're going to continue that, but we're going to just make it like a listener contest. So if you guys have an idea for a contest, we'll queue them up for you and let the listeners just go to town and build something, and then, well, you guys can all vote on it.
Yeah.
And the only thing prize-wise is you get the claim of fame of winning the contest that time, and you get a trophy for a little while. You can put it at your workbench, share some funny pictures of it, and then the next guy can do the same thing.
That's great.
It's a fun little traveling trophy we have for our listeners. It'll be fun.
Cool.
All right. Next up, and last question is from Greg Cassidy. Thanks for the past year, lots of laughs. And can you have too many unbuilt kits? Yes, you can have too many unbuilt kits. I think it becomes. I don't want to collect kits, so I get a little anxious when I start having like too many kits, because then I'm like, oh god, I'm never gonna get all this stuff. So that's how I feel.
And I got some of these big kits that have multiple buildings, and I've been building portions of them. So I have 2 up here now that have buildings in them. That one has 1 building, one has 2 buildings, that I haven't even done yet in those giant kits. And then I have, so and I got.
Do you
all
feel
my
the
other
same
kits.
way though? You get a little bit of anxiety when you're like, oh my god,
yeah, what do I do next?
35 kits to do, and then you go, Well, then you feel guilty because you're like, I want to do that one, but I have that one, and I got this one, and this person gave us this kit, and I got to get this kit out because I feel like I want to do that one, and this person's probably wondering what the heck happened to that kit, and then I just start getting like, what am I gonna do? Yeah. But I'd rather only have a couple on hand and have more built. But anyways,
like I said, I'm gonna do the tank. I'm gonna probably start tomorrow at some point.
Yeah,
and
after the football game.
After the football game. Yeah. Definitely watching the football.
That wraps up our listener questions for 2020. And like I said, it's been an awesome ride with you guys. We've had a few changes to the show, all positive. And, it's been an interesting year around the board. But, we're going to be back in the new year, ready to roll with some new content. I am going to love having this little break. So thank you guys for understanding why we're taking a break. It's been 3 years without a break. So it's time for a little bit of a snooze button, and then we will restart the new year and say sayonara to this shitbox dumpster fire of a year.
That is a perfect description, baby.
This year was a flaming bag of dog shit on your front porch. And you
I just snorted.
and you step on it, and then you put the fire out, but you still have dog poop on your shoe.
Yep, that's precisely what this was.
But no, it's been an awesome year, and we're going to take these 2 weeks to do some more building. Maybe my dad and I will have a couple days down here.
Spend some time with family and enjoy the holidays.
Definitely. But do you have anything else you want to wrap up the show with?
No. I mean, I want to wish everybody out there a great holiday. Happy Hanukkah, happy Merry Christmas,
Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate.
Kwanzaa,
all of
whatever
it.
you celebrate. If you celebrate the Mickey Mouse Club, I don't care. Whatever you're into.
If you don't celebrate, happy whatever.
If you don't celebrate, whatever. Do your thing. Have a happy New Year.
Yeah.
You can have a happy New Year. Build a jigsaw puzzle. I don't know what you're gonna do. Maybe you celebrate I don't know. So, but have a good time.
Hey,
with whatever you're gonna do. That's what this is about.
Also, cool science fact. Don't forget to go outside on December 21st to see the Christmas star.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Jupiter.
Anytime that shit comes up, everybody starts talking about it. I go to look out, and it's always some freaking cloudy day.
Yeah, it's the cloudiest day of the year.
Yeah, and you can't see squat. So you have to wait some guy with a freaking $20,000 telescope has and his own observatory in his house. He takes some photos and uploads them to.
And you're like, oh, that's cool. I wish I could have seen it.
Yeah.
So
that's the only way I could see it. So that every time that somebody tells me that crap, I go outside and it's cloudy.
Fun story, and I'll wrap up with this. I was picking Audrey up the one day, and it was, it's getting darker out earlier, and I looked over to my right, and there's this. It looked like a plane going up, like it was moving fast, coming up over the mountain, and I'm like, what in the world is that? And then all of a sudden, there's a cone, like a sonic cone, around the front of it, and it broke apart into 3 pieces, and the cone kept going way up. Fast as hell, like faster than anything you see in the sky. And I'm like, what is that? And then it hit me. It was a rocket. And it was the rocket they launched from SpaceX down in Florida.
Oh, cool.
coming right over our heads.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was, you could see the sonic, like the cone around it, and then when it broke apart, that was the boosters breaking apart.
You never told me that.
Yeah, and I was like, Audrey, that's a rocket. And then she was all excited. She's like a spaceship. Is there people? I don't think there are people on it, but she's like a spaceship. There's people on it. I'm like, yeah, it's a new spaceship they're launching. And and then I went online later and I looked it up, and it was a SpaceX launch down in Florida. But it was so high, it got to the point where it was high enough in the sky where we could see it, and then you could see all three pieces going different directions after it broke up. It was really wild.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was wild.
So cool. You live out there in God's country where you can see everything.
There's no light pollution.
There's no light pollution where you live. Yeah.
So
exactly.
I had a good time with that, and then we spent the evening watching rocket launches on YouTube.
Yeah.
She thought that was the coolest thing ever. But
cool.
Anyways, that was my fun.
Maybe my granddaughter will be a little scientist.
Maybe, who knows?
Rocket science.
Who knows? Right now, she wants to be something different every day, so that's fine though.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you. We should all do that every day. We should always want to be something else, something better.
Definitely.
So,
but
okay.
Hey, well, we are going to call this a wrap. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. Kiss your wife. Hug your dog. Whatever you do, and just enjoy the time with your families over the next 2 weeks. Be safe. We will see you guys on the next trip around the sun in 2021.
Peace out.